guests. Welcome to the public speaking competition organized by English Language Department. My name is Nur Zahira binti Rahlin and I am truly honored to be your MC for today's exciting event. We are gathered here not just to witness the competition, but to celebrate the power of words, confidence and the courage to speak up. Before we begin, allow me to extend a warm welcome to our honorable judges, respected teachers and beloved students, and of course, our passionate participants. Today, you will witness some amazing talents from our contestants who will deliver their best speeches based on their given themes. Each speaker will be judged based on content, confidence, language, delivery, and time management. Each contestant will have 10 minutes to present their speech, followed by a short pause before the next speaker. Let's show our best support by giving each speaker our full attention. Please remain silent during speeches and switch your phones to silent mode.
Now, let's move on to the next contestant, Nurnisha Dafira, to deliver her speech.
I have a confession to make, one that haunted me for years. I've done things I deeply regret, things I'm not particularly proud of. And honestly, I wish they could remain unknown forever. But today, I feel compelled to share them with you. You see, I wasn't always this confident. In fact, when I was little, I used to be terrified of the dark. And when I say terrified, I mean Olympic level fear. I absolutely refused to sleep in a room without the lights on. My parents tried everything. Night lights, lullabies, and even a good old-fashioned bribery to triple my pocket money if I just tried to sleep with the lights off. Spoiler alert, I still fell asleep with my bedside lamp full charge on. The moment the lights went out, my imagination turned into a full-blown Hollywood horror studio. Every shadow, a lurking ghost. Every creak, a monster creeping closer. And don't even get me started on the time I was absolutely convinced that my own jacket hanging on the chair was a demon watching me. So what's the point of bringing this up? Because what if I told you that fear isn't meant to paralyze us? It's meant to push us forward. If we shift our mindset and embrace fear as a challenge rather than a barrier, we can transform our life's greatest obstacles into powerful opportunities. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Nisha and I speak from experience. Because fear once clouded my judgment and trapped me in self-doubt. But when I chose to confront it, fear became the very force that propelled me forward. And that's why I'm standing here today, not just to speak, but to inspire, to show you. When we transform fear into opportunity, we unlock a version of success we never thought possible. Everybody, the truth is, we all know fear. At some point, we've all felt helpless, incapable, or afraid of not meeting expectations. Well, fear is universal. It grips us at the worst moments and whispers, "What if you fail?" But the real question is, what if you don't try? According to Very Well Health 2023, fear limits our potential and often holds us back from taking risks. So how do we defeat fear? Do we hire a bodyguard? Do we learn ninja moves? Or do we crawl under the blanket, pretend that the problem doesn't exist? Trust me, I've tried the last one. 0% effective. only succeeded in overheating. So, the first step to overcome fear is to acknowledge and understand it. Identifying what frightens you allows you to address it at its core and approach it calmly rather than letting it control you. And let's be real, fears come in all shapes and sizes. Some people fear hate, some fear social, and some like me fear the dark. But here's the thing, understanding your fear helps you separate fact from fiction. And once you do that, fear stops being the villain of your story and you become the hero. And fear, it loves to feed on self-doubt. The way you perceive yourself greatly influences how fear affects you. So instead of seeing fear as a threat, reframe it as an exciting challenge. And one effective approach is to replace negative thoughts with positive affirmations, as stated by Clayson and Anderson 2024. It is time to replace it with affirmations like, I am capable, or if you're feeling spicy, you can say, I am Beyonce, always. But seriously, building a resilient mindset is key. Focus on progress, not perfection. As Mark Twain wisely said, continuous improvement is better than delayed perfection. Translation: it is better to be a hot mess moving forward than a flawless statue collecting dust. Furthermore, having a strong support system is essential too. Seeking guidance and motivation from mentors, peers, or family members can help ease anxiety. Likewise, being open to feedback allows you to refine your weaknesses and grow. Consequently, sharing your experiences with others not only helps you learn from their insights, but also fosters mutual encouragement and boosts your confidence. On top of that, keeping the bigger picture in mind helps you to stay on track, as fear can easily distract us from our goals. Ask yourself, why am I doing this? What is my ultimate goal? When you have a clear purpose in mind, fear loses its grips on you. Additionally, consider the cost of inaction. Will I regret not taking this chance? If the answer is yes, then push forward. In the end, avoiding fear rather than confronting it can lead to missed opportunities and lasting regrets. We don't want that. Last but not least, embrace failure as a learning experience, as it holds valuable lessons in our life. Recognize that failure is not an end point, but a springboard to success. Even Thomas Edison failed thousands of times before inventing the light bulb, yet he famously said, I have not failed, I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work. Remember, every setback is an opportunity to learn and grow. With the right mindset, failures become stepping stones to success. Now, let's uncover the rewards of transforming fear into opportunity. First, we break free from self-doubt, replacing uncertainty with confidence in our abilities. Next, we embrace challenge with courage, and ultimately, we unlock our true potential. By stepping beyond fear, we open doors to opportunities and grow into the best version of ourselves. As we come to the end of this journey, let's take a moment to reflect. Fear isn't something we have to run from. It is something we can work with. In life, we all have a choice. We can let fear hold us back, or we can take control. And there's a song that captures this perfectly. You can be a lover or a fighter, whatever you desire. Life is like a runaway and you're the designer. Wings of a butterfly, eyes of a tiger. Whatever you want, but you choose your fighter. So, what will you choose? Will you let fear hold you back, or will you rise above it and fight for your dreams? The choice is yours. Thank you.
Thank you, Nurnisha Dafira, for that inspiring and thought-provoking speech. Now I welcome Nur Farisha Ayuni to deliver her speech. The stage is yours.
Imagine this. You walk into your dream job interview and the employer doesn't even ask about your degree. But instead, they ask, what can you do? If you were in that situation, what would you say? Assalamualaikum and good morning. I am Farisha, and today, together, we are going to dive into a debate that has sparked discussions among educators, employees, and even your parents at the dinner table, which is education versus skills. What matters more in the 21st century? With the world evolving faster than your Wi-Fi when streaming in 4K, should we rely on the book smarts, or do we need to level up with the real-world skills? Let's take a step back and really think about it. What did education look like a few decades ago? Structured classroom, chalkboards, stacks of textbooks. For many, it was the golden ticket, and to be fair, it holds incredible value. First and foremost, let's consider the traditional perspective, which view education as the foundation of knowledge. For the longest time, education has been about memorizing facts, understanding theories, and also writing essays that rarely get revisited. The classic formula, get good grades, get a degree, and get a job, has guided generations. Well, it does make sense. You cannot just wing it as a doctor or an engineer. Why? Because expertise is essential. As Scalar 2018 states, education should focus on developing critical thinking and expertise, which are vital for navigating complex careers and contributing to a rapidly evolving society. Now imagine a situation where a pilot saying, I didn't study aviation, but I'm a fast learner. Would you be on that plane? Hard pass. That is not just risky, but that is also terrifying. But here is something to think about. Even in these traditionally education-heavy careers, things are changing. Doctors now need to learn how to communicate with patients who have Googled their symptoms. Engineers must work with international teams, and pilots rely heavily on fast-developing tech. So yes, education is essential, but it's also evolving. But is knowledge alone is enough? Now that is a big question. Fast forward to today, and the game has changed. Skills have become the real cheat codes. Employees now seek candidates who can think on their feet, problem solve, and adapt. It's no longer about what you know, but also about how you use it. Creativity, teamwork, communication, and digital literacy are the new essentials, the things that AI cannot replace, at least yet. A study in 2017 argues that in today's digital age, knowing how to find and evaluate information is just as important as memorizing it. Think about it. In a job interview, having a degree is great, but if you lack communication skills or teamwork, now that is a problem. It's like having a phone with the latest features, but no battery. The potential is there, but it's not useful unless it works. A study on 2019 notes, acquiring 21st century skills is vital for success in both workplace and individual life, enabling individuals to adapt, innovate, and thrive. So, the real question is, why not both? Here's the twist. It's not and never education versus skills, but it's education and skills. Think of it like a burger. Education is the bun, the structure, but skills are the sauce, the cheese, and everything that makes it enjoyable. You wouldn't just eat the bun, would you? The best learning happens when knowledge and skills come together. Employees don't just want degrees, but they want people who can apply to their learning. Imagine a science class where instead of just memorizing formulas, you actually get to do experiment and analyze. And that is when education becomes real, exciting, and also useful. Take, for example, a student who excels in biology. That's great. But when they also know how to present their findings, work with others in a lab, and design their own experiments, now that is a game changer. Now, let's talk about technology, the ultimate game changer. We cannot just ignore the massive shift brought by tech. According to Bong 2020, online learning platforms like MOOCs and OERs are reshaping education, making learning accessible and fostering lifelong growth. We live in an era where coding can be learned on YouTube, online courses are often free, and businesses can be launched from a bedroom. Literally. Digital literacy is not optional anymore. It is mandatory. With AI, automation, and metaverse on the rise, we cannot just rely on textbook and hope for the best. But we must harness technology thoughtfully, not merely as a source of entertainment, but as a powerful tool to enhance learning and equip students for real-world challenges. And let's be honest, how many of us have used YouTube to learn something faster than textbook could teach? Whether it is fixing a bike, editing a video, or understanding a math concept, we are learning all the time, but just differently. But how about soft skills? Now they are the underrated superpowers. You can be the smartest person in the room, but if you lack communication skills, well, good luck. Employers value communication, empathy, and leadership. A study on 2012 emphasized that soft skills are essential for success in both personal and professional contexts, influencing how individuals interact and thrive. Think about it. If you had to choose between two teammates, one who is slightly less smart but great to work with, and with someone who is a genius but impossible to talk to, who would you pick? Exactly. Soft skills don't just come with certificates, but they are just as important. They are the difference between a good team and a great one, between a decent leader and an inspiring one. Now, let's acknowledge the real MVPs, which is the educators. Teachers have the toughest job, which is ensuring students don't just pass their exams, but also actually learn how to think. Schools need to shift from rote memorization to a real-world learning, which have more projects, more hands-on experience, and less copy-paste this definition and call it a day. A study on 2014 stressed that learning is about integrating meaningful activities, not just reciting definitions. And as students, we need to meet teachers halfway, because learning is not just about passing tests, but it's about preparing for life. Teachers are not just knowledge providers, but they are mentors, they are motivators, and sometimes the reason we discover what we love. So, which one wins? Education or skills? The answer is both. We need knowledge to understand the world and the skills to navigate it. It's like knowing how to drive versus knowing how to fix a car. You need both to keep moving forward. Education and skills are not and never rivals, but they need to be blended. The future is not waiting for us to catch up, but it's racing ahead. We are the ones who need to keep learning, keep adapting, and most importantly, stay ahead of the game. And remember, it's not and never about choosing between classroom or the real world, but it's about bridging the two. So we don't just learn for school, but for life. That's all from me. And remember, never stop learning, but also never stop leveling up. Thank you.
Thank you to
Now-
Farisha Ayumi for her inspiring speech. Now let's welcome our last contestant for today, Nur Zahira, to deliver her speech.
Ladies and gentlemen, since stepping into IPG, presentations have become an inescapable part of my journey. At times, they feel daunting, pushing me beyond my comfort zone. Have you ever felt that way? That moment when your heart races, your palms sweat, and your thoughts falter is known as fear. It is a universal experience, an intrinsic part of being human. Let's be honest, fear doesn't discriminate whether you are a student, a teacher, or someone already working in the professional world. Fear finds its way into our lives. For some of us, it appears during public speaking. For others, it shows up when facing failure, rejections, or uncertainty. We all encounter fear in all different aspects of our life, whether in academic settings, social interactions, or professional endeavors. Yet, what truly defines us is not the presence of fear, but how we respond to it. Fear can hold us back, causing hesitations and self-doubt, but it also has the potential to propel us forward, urging us to refine our skills and grow. Just think about how many times we stop ourselves from doing something new just because we were scared. Maybe we didn't speak up in the class, or we skipped an opportunity to lead a project. But also, think about how the time you did push through. It might have been scary, but didn't it feel rewarding afterward? By shifting our perspective, we stop seeing fear as a barrier and start recognizing it as a catalyst for progress. It is not fear itself that limits us, but our unwillingness to confront it. Therefore, it is essential to explore how we can confront fear, reshape our mindset, and take decisive action to turn challenges into opportunities for success. To truly understand fear, let's speak into both the biological and psychological side of things. Don't worry, no pop quizzes involved. Biologically speaking, fear is our body's way of yelling, "Alert! Something is happening!" It kicks off the classic fight or flight response where your heart beats faster, your senses go to superhero mode, and your stress hormones like adrenaline and cortisol flood your system. Back in the caveman days, this used to help people to escape from hungry lions. But today, it's triggered by less deadly things like oral presentations and awkward small talk. Same system, different era. And isn't that funny? The same biological system that helped our ancestors survive is now freaking out because we are holding a microphone. But that is the beauty of human evolution. Our environment changes, but our bodies take time to catch up. Psychologically, fear is more than just a reaction to danger. It is about how we think about situation. Some fears are helpful, like not touching hot stoves, but others, not so helpful. The fear of failing, for example, might stop you from trying something new, just because your brain whispers, "What if you messed up?" and our brains, sneaky as they are, often exaggerate the danger. Have you ever made a mistake in front of a class and felt like the world is going to end? But then you realize it didn't. Life moved on. People forgot. Sometimes fear paints a bigger monster than what is really there. But fear isn't just a reaction, it is also a powerful force in decision making. It can either stop us from making reckless choices or push us to prepare more diligently. However, too much fear leads to hesitations and missed opportunities. Think about those who fear public speaking. Their anxiety may cause them to avoid class presentations, leadership roles, or networking events, ultimately holding back their personal and professional growth. On the other hand, those who see fear as a challenge, not threat, can use it as to their advantage. They prepare more, build confidence, and refine their skills. In fact, some of the most accomplished individuals have experienced fear, but they chose to channel it into motivations. Athletes, performers, and leaders often feel nervous before a big event, but they use that nervous energy to fuel their performance rather than letting it paralyze them. The truth is, recognizing fear as natural response and learning to manage it is the key to breaking self-imposed limitations. The next time fear whispers that you are not ready, remember this. Fear is not the proof of your weakness. It is a sign that you care, that you are growing, that you are about to do something that matters. If something didn't scare you even a little bit, would it even be worth doing? So, how do we overcome fear? It starts with a shift in mindset from avoidance to growth. Psychologist Carol Dweck, in her book Mindset, This New Psychology of Success, explains that people with a growth mindset view challenges as opportunities to learn, while those with a fixed mindset see failure as a proof of their limitations. Developing a growth mindset doesn't mean we won't feel fear anymore. It means we learn to move forward despite it. We embrace the idea that failing is not the end. It is just a feedback. It is part of the journey, and the more we step outside of our comfort zone, the more the zone expands. In closing, fear is not the enemy. It is a companion on our journey to becoming better. The question is, will we let it drive or will we take the wheel? To everyone listening today, whether you are afraid of speaking up, of making mistakes, or of being judged, know this. Bravery is not the absence of fear. It is choosing to keep going even fear is present. So stand up, speak up. I am Nur Zahira binti Rahlin, and never let fear silence the voice that only you can offer to the world. Thank you.